How's it going? I'm Ryan, and today I'm going to go over the two trades I took on QQQ. Both trades were calls, both trades were losses. My second trade would have been really well if I didn't fail to execute. So we'll go over why I took a loss on a trade that should have been a big winner, what my mistakes were, how I identified the trade, and what I did to mess it up, essentially. Before we go into that, though, we're looking at QQQ on the daily time frame here. We have a few levels we were watching. Starting from the top, relevant to today's price action, we had the pre-market high at 425.7. We had the high of this candle here at 424.7. We had the low of yesterday's candle right at 424, and those were really the relevant levels to today. We also had a pre-market low down here that we didn't quite reach, around 422.2. Jumping into the day, we see right from the start, we were holding that yesterday's low, that 424 level, really well, wicking down into that area and showing some buyers were present. We made a new low here, but pretty immediately turned around and reclaimed that 424, and I entered calls right here. This is my first trade of the day and my first loss. This trade was not so much of a good trade. On the 5-minute, it's terrible. There's no confirmation. We can look at why I took the trade, which was on the 2-minute, but that doesn't excuse that this trade wasn't the greatest trade that I took. So here's that example where we came down, we made this bottom, we look like we're making a reversal, we come up and we held this level on a higher volume candle, wicked down below and held this candle. After this, I got in on the retest here at 424 when we came down and retested, looking to take this back up to this range here. This candle here stopped me out once we broke below and broke below here. That stopped me out for about a 10% loss on this trade, or a little bit over a 10% loss. So the trade wasn't good. The stop loss was all right. It prevented me from taking, I think I actually stopped out much before we got down here. I think I stopped out once we broke below these wicks here for 10%. There's no way that I stopped out down here from entering up here. It was probably somewhere in this area. But I took a quick 10% loss. I was not the happiest that I took that trade. I thought with that increasing volume, that break and reclaim of 424 that we were going to continue. However, obviously that didn't happen. I didn't have confirmation on the 5-minute. We were getting rejected pretty much off this trend line, so didn't have a total confirmation there. Nevertheless, stopped out for a small loss and waited for my next trade. My second and final trade is one that really should have worked out. I just did not trade it well. I noticed that we were in this this pattern here. Excuse me, failing to draw. We're in this descending channel, right? And I was watching us have high volume buys. Buyers were stepping up once we got down below 424, and that was pretty evident when you look at the 5-minute chart. It seems like anytime we got below 424, buyers really started to push us back up. We refused for a few minutes here, broke below, immediately reclaimed it, broke below, started pushing up immediately back towards that 424. So on the 5-minute and the 2-minute, this descending channel was really evident. I entered calls right here. On the 5-minute, we got a break above. We were looking really bullish with this high volume, these long lower wicks and these green candles. We broke above that, came down and retested, and I entered calls here. When we got all the way down here, this stopped me out, and then we reversed and got the move that I was looking for. We got a really nice breakout. We got the breakout, we got the retest. We hit the first target of 424.7, then we hit the pre-market high. Excellent trade. Beautiful, 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 but I did not execute. I took a loss here. Why would I sell down here? Because I entered too early. So let's take a look. First of all, I entered before the 5-minute closed. I entered after this closed, confirming that we were getting a breakout. But I entered before this closed, confirming the retest and hold. Now, you won't always get that on the 5-minute. In this case, you did. But the biggest thing that I really dropped the ball on was selling, or maybe entering before we came down into this area. And you could extend this potentially down into here, but that wasn't necessarily the case for this candle here. You can see that buyers are present. When we come down into this area, we reversed pretty quickly. Failed to close into this area, failed to close below this area. So buyers are strong down here. Take a look at the 2 minute as well. So I entered up in here when we were retesting. And when we pushed down here, I was down around 20%, which is why I got out. That's a bigger loss than I want to take. I was paying too much attention to the profit and the loss to pay attention to the area that we were in. And I think it's very evident when you look at the 2 minute chart here. We had reversed from this once, come down, failed to close below this twice, and now we're wicking into this after showing some strength to the upside. This would have been an excellent place to enter. Maybe enter here, scale in down here. I think breaking out of this zone would have been a clear reason to exit, as it would be at another low. But I exited down here just to watch it reverse and do exactly what I wanted immediately after. So the idea was there. Why did I have this idea? Because we were holding this 424 all day long. This was yesterday's low a day. There was obviously some demand in here. It's a nice whole number. We had price action to support it. We had some volume buying. Look at these high volume buys to support it. And we were failing to close lower. We had wicked down but failed to close lower. So the idea was there, that breakout of that channel and continuation. I could have waited even to maybe get this real breakout, maybe enter on this pullback here. Would have been a better entry. Probably, would have been the best entry if you didn't catch the absolute bottom here. It would be to confirm and wait for that breakout and then enter this pullback. That would have been good. However, once I stopped out and it started reversing, I was pretty upset at myself because I had the right idea, just executed poorly. So I stepped away from the computer. Probably the best thing I did all day was just walk away when I'd taken 2 losses, understand that I wasn't trading the best. So remove myself for the rest of the day. So those are the only 2 trades that I took. I really wanted to break this down. My stop loss here wasn't based on a certain percentage, or excuse me, my stop loss was based more on a percentage here than price action, and that was a mistake. I should have really paid attention to what was happening in front of my eyes, not been so blind to it, and had a better entry here, or just waited for a super clear breakout, at which point to enter. So had the right idea. We had this descending channel. We were looking like we had some buyers in this area, and we got that breakout on multiple time frames. Like I said, idea was there, execution was really poor. So that's on me. That's the only thing I can do is be frustrated and learn from it, try not to repeat it. But it was a hard pill for me to swallow today for sure. I took a bigger loss than I would have liked to, and it was on a trade that should have been a really big win for me. So just learn from it. It happens. Just try to get better, and that's all I can do. That's all I have for you. I hope you had a great day. Thank you for watching. I trade live Monday through Friday, so I'll be back next week. Have a good one. Peace.